Hey, we're back. Um, this is another video about the recording process. How I pretty much how I do it. I think it's probably fairly common. The process itself. In the first video, I talked about how I'd set the record profile up for the different instruments that I would need. I put my click track in place so I would have something to play to, so that my tempo would always remain constant. Um, I have, since that first video, laid down 3 separate tracks, and I'm working on 2 others, and possibly a third. So it's looking like we're going to be about 6 tracks in before I can really call this done. What I did was the first thing that I did was I recorded a keyboard part, a piano part, because it was a melody that I'd had that had been kicking around for a while, and I originally, while I teach lessons, I teach a master class in guitar at Music and Arts, and there's this beautiful electric grand piano up there, and so I sat down there one day and started picking this melody out on the piano, and thought that I was going to record that. I went ahead and recorded a track, a lot of it actually, most of the song with a piano, and then listened back to it and realized the piano was a bit too strong. The voice was a little too strong for the track. It was too percussive. Um, so I opted for something a little, less intense, a little bit more um, subdued, and then I layered some synth strings over the top of it to give it more of a more texture, a little bit more texture. And what I went with is sort of an acoustic guitar sound layered with, a string pad. And this is what the track sounds like now. This is just let me just solo. I'm going to go over here. You see my cursor. This S right here, this stands for solo. We're just going to listen to this one track. So what that does is it shuts all the other ones off for now. I've muted my click track. I don't really need it anymore because, as you can see down here, I've also put in a drum track. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off, and then we'll just solo. This is the main body, I guess, of the song, you could call it. This is the melody that I picked out on piano, but wound up converting it to something else. Hear that acoustic guitar? It's a fake acoustic guitar, but I'm just playing the piano part in an acoustic guitar voice. You hear the string pad in the background holding those chord shaped notes. To that, the next thing that I wound up doing, believe it or not, I didn't do any other melodic tracks. What I did next was I put down the drum track. Okay, and I needed real drums at this point to do the rest of the song. Once I did the keyboard part, the synth part was done against the click track, and then when I got the synth part done, I put the drum track down, and this is what we get for that. And the drums were done with my SR16. Okay, first 2 tracks. Those are the first 2 that I did. Now, I wanted to put a real electric guitar part in with a clean sound, little bit of. I put a detune on it. I think I put some delay. I left the reverb off temporarily. I'm going to add reverb to this track, to this guitar track. I'm going to add reverb here and use the reverb in the actual DAW to get a cleaner reverb. That way, and I do this. I generally on guitar parts that I record, a lot of parts I record, I don't put any effects on them whatsoever unless it's absolutely necessary. Then I add them in the DAW once they get recorded. And I do that because if I don't like the reverb that I've got when I recorded it, I can't change it if it was part of the original recording. Now, what I can do though, if I record it with just the bare bones, like the drums have a little bit of reverb from the drum machine, but I didn't really think I was going to need to add reverb to them. They already have really good reverb. The drum machine includes reverb on the drums, so they sound really, really nice. The next thing that I wanted to add was a clean guitar part, sort of a counter melody to what the synth was doing. So, and this is what we've got here. Kill the drums so that you can just hear the guitar and the synth. Here's just the guitar. And there's the drum pack. The guitar part, the counter melody, is right now it's really, really low. It's not going to be up high. I want the keyboard to be the main voice for the melody going through the song, or at least for the underlying stuff. But the guitar part's there to add just a little bit of weight to what the keyboard is doing. Sounds pretty good so far, right? I'm kind of liking that. That's not bad. Excuse me. Sorry. My throat is really dry. Let me get a sip of my coffee real quick. So that's part 2. I put down some basic rhythm tracks to add some weight, right? And I've been experimenting with guitar melodies. I'm kind of ripping off Joe Satriani as far as approach goes, as far as my approach to writing the song. I'm sort of ripping off Joe a little bit. Not his playing, not anything that he's done before, but the approach, the idea of what I want to put in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play just a little bit of, I think, what is going to be the main melody of the song. There's going to be there are essentially 2 different parts now, and the second part, the next part, it takes a while to get to it, a little bit to get to it. The next part's going to be, this is a melody. What I'm going to play now is a melody, but what's going to happen in the middle of the song, that's going to be more of a guitar solo. That's going to be a lot faster. It's going to be a little bit looser. It's going to be probably unscripted. I know the key that I'm in F sharp. I didn't really mean to write it in F sharp. That wasn't my intention, but when I fired up my keyboard, unbeknownst to me, I'm playing it in G, and it's tuned down a half step, so it's coming out in F sharp. So I wound up, for that guitar part that I put on, that electric guitar part, that clean part, I wound up having to use my capo. I put it down here at the 2nd fret, and there's F sharp right there. I'm sorry, I put it at the 4th fret. Right? So not a big deal. The rest of it, though, I'm not going to use a capo for the melody part. The melody is going to be played just straight. So, and I've got that sort of figured out. So I'm going to play just a little bit of what I've kind of got scripted out for the main melody of the song, and I'll play along with that. basics. Now, that melody's not written in stone. I just wanted to find something that played well against what I did on the keyboard. The keyboard part is that's the cake, and I'm just adding frosting and sprinkles and stuff now. What's going to be next before I put the solo, the melody part down or the solo down? What I've got to take care of first is I've got to get my bass part on. This song desperately needs a fretless bass, somebody to play a fretless bass. I don't own a fretless bass. I got a regular bass, and I may try it with what I have. I just don't have a lot of confidence that it's really going to do what I want it, to do. So I do have a fretless bass sound on my synth that sounds really, really nice. I probably will wind up doing that and just play the bass part with my right hand. So no big deal. That's it. That's it. That's the first few tracks. That's just a little, a little bit of what it took to get, the basics down. The next video will be about. You'll see I'll have some more instruments on. I will probably add another keyboard part, another high string part to add a little bit of top end to. Right now everything is sort of mid and low end. So what I want to do is add some strings to cover the high end stuff, and I'll probably put some of the solo down in place, or the melody at least. I'll put the melody in place, and I'll wait. Usually, I wait till dead last to put a guitar solo on. So, and this is going to be a little bit different. It's not really a key change. I'm in F sharp, and I'm going to the relative minor of, what is that? D sharp, I think it is. So, it's going to be kind of cool. So there it is. That's all for this time.